All right, it's recording. Watch this. Oh, okay. It doesn't foam that bad. Okay. I had like just knocked it over, so I thought it was gonna fucking and it would be funny. But hey everyone. Gonna be eating dinner today and talking about a book. Just finished Anthem by Ayn Rand, and it was a fucking interesting read. It's a shorter read. If you're fucking speeding through it like I did, I read it aloud for the camera, and I had to stop the recording because my grandmother like walked in halfway through, and I had to have like an hour conversation with her. Fucking up a Cuban sandwich. Chester Stone doesn't want a Cuban sandwich. Bitch, Cuban sandwich. You know that shit? It's a pretty good sandwich. Got it from a new restaurant in town I live in. It's not quite like boonies shit, but it's like fairly rural, so getting a fucking Cuban restaurant's pretty cool. It's pretty good. It's not like it's not like street food, where it's just like the best fucking food you've ever had, and it's from like a cart. But like, it's okay. Let's talk about the book now. So, um, who is Ayn Rand? um, the whole reason I picked up this book from local thrift store is because I knew Ayn Rand's name. I also have from her. I have a copy of The Fountainhead. And don't know if it's any good. I haven't read it. It's a fucking massive book, and it's probably not crazy long. It's probably just super large print on like big ass hardback, So it's yeah. I mean, I can make excuses, but I'll be honest. I'm just a lazy fucker, and I haven't read it. um, but I just read this. It's pretty fucking short read. I sped through it, and to be honest, it's a short enough read that it's like it doesn't really matter if you speed through it or not because it's all gonna be fresh in your head. It took me 2 hours to get through it. It's and the actual size of this is kind of deceptive because I put in a bookmark, but I didn't mark it closely enough. Half of it for this is the actual length of the book. All of this is like an old version of the manuscript that they put in for like comparison's sake. So it's a super fucking short read. And because it's on the older end of Ayn Rand's works, it's like one of the first novels she put out. It's kind of serves as like a short introduction to her belief set, and just going off of the shit she introduced in the book. This is a interesting woman who has a lot of fucking beliefs I disagree with, to be honest. So I'm just gonna kind of get out there with it. Ayn Rand is fucking beloved by modern day conservatives and also conservatives of the 50s. So, whatever you think a 1950s conservative or 40s, 50s conservative looks like, they like this. So, do with that what you will. And at least from my reading of it, all of her books are very spoken out against collectivism. which, when you consider the fact that she is a woman who immigrated from the USSR to America in the 30s, or 30s or 40s, somewhere in there, it's understandable, because this, I mean, I'm not, it's really interesting because all of her books are written at a time where the USSR is really one of the only collectivist cultures that's around. I mean, even today, collectivism is a very rare kind of thing to see in governance. It is, in the book, it's interesting. I can't quite tell if this would have hit the same at the time, but because this book was written in 38, and then this is like a revised version from 46. So this book is 80. This edition of this book is 80 years old. So maybe this would have been viewed differently at the time, but she kind of construes like collectivism and fascism, authoritarianism, whatever term you want to use for that type of shit. She kind of construes them to be the same. She puts them in one. And it's understandable, kind of, because the Nazis, they were the other big group that she clearly used as inspiration. The Nazis and the Soviets were the two big groups she clearly used as inspiration for the groups in this book. And it's understandable because the Nazis did use a lot of like socialist, not dog whistles. What's the term, like socialist, like arm waving? Oh God, what's the fucking term I'm looking for? They used a lot of socialist like terminology and shit to make their shit appealable to the appealing to the average worker who didn't quite know what no one person really understands every single thing a party stands for, but they used a lot of terminology of socialism and classical shit. I mean, they were literally named like the National Socialist Party, so it's understandable that she kind of puts collectivism in with, Nazism. And at least my read of the book is that she is someone who strongly hates a couple of specific governments and takes that to hate the entire ideology. The entire book is kind of read as a specific. I'll get into the plot to kind of show off what I mean, because it's fucking weird trying to describe the things in this book. So this book is set in a hypothetical, super far future, like hundreds and hundreds of years in the future, where society has gone back to like almost a Maoist collective society, where everyone is just farming and doing fuck all and doing like menial labor, and everything is about the collective. And the main things that kind of struck me is like the evil things in this world are your job is decided for you by the group, like they call it, I believe it was like the let me find it, councils. Yeah, they use the word council a lot as just like not like the opposite of underling, overling. I don't fucking know. Like, she uses a lot of weird descriptions to mean like, basically everyone has like the authoritarian boss who decides everything about their life. And to me, I kind of read this as like a super anti-authoritarian book, because the whole plot, spoilers for Ayn Rand's Anthem, spoilers for a fucking 80-year-old book, but got fucking phlegm in my mouth. So our main character and every character in this book, gonna scratch my leg, are named after some collectivist concept, and they are also given a number after their name as like a true depersonified thing. Like, you are the collective. You are fart number 10 trillion, like, I'm not even gonna lie, I don't remember our main character's name. Fuck, that's bad. Well, he changes names towards the end, so it's like, transgender appreciation in an 80-year-old book, I guess. Something, fucking radical commie or whatever. But, our main guy is a little rebel boy, little German boy, no little German boy. He's raised up in this collectivist society where there are no parents, you are raised in a group of, I believe it was 200. You're raised in a group of 200, no parents. You just have like the council of rulers who teach you what you need to do, and they teach you very basics like learn to read and write. They don't really get into the specifics of it because it's short. It's not really, the specifics don't really matter. It's just you get a short basic education taught to you by the rulers that are effectively your parents, and then you are sent out into the workforce when you're 15, and you work and you get your job and you do whatever the bosses decree, and that is your job until the end of time. Our boy gets put on street cleaner, like he has to just walk around and clean up the streets. And then as he's working, he works with two other people. That was another thing that I found interesting was the main character. No one is allowed to be alone in this world. Everyone has to have like a fucking buddy system. And that was interesting to me. So you have like their buddy, and for a bit I thought it was going to go like homoerotic love story because the buddy that our main character has, what was the buddy's name? Fuck me, man. My brain is like, the buddy's name was International, and our main character's name was Equality. So like, you see, all of the characters are named after concepts that are vaguely appealing in a collective state, and like, and International and Equality, they fucking it got like weirdly homoerotic for a bit there, and I was like, okay, because the thing on the cover, like the title is like, he lived in the dark ages, but in this loveless world, he dared to love a woman, and so I legitimate, because there was another thing that was clever about this book was that the main thing about this book that I really liked and got out of it was just a really clever thing with world building, where a bunch of little things would pop up that were really neat. Some ones that pop to mind are because it's a hyper collectivist society. The big thing of the story is that the word "I" is gone. Like everyone just says "we" or "they" or "their," and it's very clearly meant as like a removing individuality by removing differences, and it's interesting. I like it. But it does make it kind of a confusing read at points because it'll be like, we said this, we said this, we said this. And so it's not 100% clear who's talking at some points, but fucking form over function. But it looks good. And another thing, like, that was one thing I really enjoyed about this book was the world building was really fucking interesting. There was like a really big amount of just like weird shit that Rand would add in that was like, oh yeah, I guess that does make sense. And it was just kind of neat. Like, also in this society, because it's meant to be like kind of a parody of like regressionist shit, like Nazis burning science that they didn't like, that type of shit. Our main boy discovers electricity, and the council of scholars, yeah, they tweak the fuck out, and they're like, no, this is evil. And I like that. I kind of like it's an interesting thing that Rand was going for here, because the collectivism felt less like the evil part. It's weird because the collectivism didn't feel like the bad part to me. It felt like the bad part was just like the authoritarianism and like the strict rejection of like progression in a society. Like those felt like the problems to me. And also like, there's a fucking difference between like collectivism and unpersoning people and like being like, you are John 4553, like there's a fucking difference. And I feel like she didn't quite hit the mark there. But what can you do? But I'm gonna fuck up the rest of this sandwich now. Dude, I fucking hope that part picked up on the mic. Dude, I fucking farted on X Games. Dude, that was the funniest fucking fart of all time, dude. But, oh, God. But let me finish up the plot, and then I'll talk about the things I thought. Oh, yeah, where was I? So main boy, he gets the job as the street cleaner, and then he's cleaning one day with his buddy International, and they find like I interpreted it as a sewer grate. I think that was right. I couldn't quite tell. They find like a grate that goes down in a ladder, and then like a big tunnel. So I think it was either meant to be a sewer or like a bomb shelter. The descriptions were interesting because she did a thing where instead of describing it in our terminology, it was all from the perspective of Equality, the guy. And I thought it was really interesting because she really fucking hit the nail on the head with that. Like that's the one thing from this that I want to see more of is she put a character in a really fucking strange world where like industrial revolution, it's pre-industrial for the most part. It's pre-industrial. The newest technology they have is like glass and candles. That's like the nicest technology they have. And fuck. Got like a little bit of the I can't tell like quite what it is. It's like stringy chicken, I think. I don't know, but it's like kind of stuck in my teeth. But you hate to see it. But fuck, where was I? It's like a kind of pre-industrial society, and because of that, when they're down there in the sewer, they're describing like iron rails. Oh, they have iron, but they don't have seemingly more advanced metals or like more advanced metallurgy, I should say. Like they talk about going down and clinging onto the iron rails in the tunnel as they're walking. Oh, it was a subway tunnel. That's what it fucking was. Oh, I connected it. Because it was the rails. Oh my god, I'm a fucking idiot. It was a subway tunnel. So he's down in the subway tunnel and he finds lights with his bud. With what was his name? International. They're down there and they find light bulbs, and they have this really strange homoerotic moment where they're both like they have like this weird profession of love for each other where they're just like I don't care if it means the collective throws me out. I'm happy to go down here with you. And it's like, you know, there's no way to read that isn't a little homoerotic, and you love to see it. So I read that and I was like, oh, okay, gay love story, I guess. All right then. And I was like, damn, 1938 when this was when the first came out. So I was like, all right, hell yeah. But the two of them are down there. They're fucking around with the light bulbs, and they keep doing it for, I believe it was 4 years in lore, something like that. Or no, it was 2 years because he gets the job as a discreet street cleaner when he is 15, does it for 4 years without event. 19, they find the hole in the ground to the subway. And then for 2 years, what they do is they fuck around and they take like shit from the dump, like old bricks, dead possums and shit, and they just take it down to the old subway and they just like fuck around and just experiment, and they're just like, what does this do? And they throw like a possum in a oven and shit. And I'm kind of bidding because it's, for the most part, it's just glossed over as like, we experimented much in that time and learned much about science. And it's for the most part glossed over, but it's really fucking weird. Because they find a hole in the ground and they immediately go to just like doing weird shit. And it's interesting. But eventually, separate from throwing weird shit in the hole in the ground, the street cleaners, they get a job eventually where they're cleaning they're sweeping like the sides of the road, I believe, right next to like a field, like a farm. And our main boy looks over and there's a beautiful woman named Liberty, fucking anti collectivist book that is from an author who loves America. What should we name the love interest? Fucking hell. But and also I didn't read them out, but all of the main characters have numbers after their name, and I did not like that. I think it takes away from the collectivist aspect, and it also makes it harder to read because it's a fucking pain in the ass. Every time you have to read a character's name and there's like 5 numbers after it, it's like, what the fuck are we doing? It takes away from the collectivist aspect because the number gives them individuality, and it takes away from like the reader's aspect because it's a fucking pain to look at. And I think that's the one thing, honestly, one of the few things I would change about this book on second draft, but like our main, like I'll just flip through to a random page to show what I mean. Equality's full name is Equality 7-2521, like fucking hell. But what's the name of the Huz? I can't remember her fucking name. Liberty and then like 5 numbers. You get what I'm going for. Like all of them have the numbers after. But what was I talking about? Yeah, I'll finish the plot summary. So main boy sees beautiful white lady named Liberty, and then pretty ass white girl versus all of societal woes, and yeah, fucking hell. But he is like fucking enamored with her, and they come back to work the same place, like I think it's like a week later, something like that. And slowly over the course of I read it to be like a couple months, something like that. I don't think it gave an exact time frame, but the two of them get like more and more enamored with each other. And it's a big thing because in the collectivist society, you aren't, in like this idea of it, you're not meant to love another individual because you're meant to have equal feeling for all state, for the whole, every individual. You're meant to love every individual equally, and that means you can't place love more so onto other people than other people, and that was kind of one of the places where the book kind of lost me, because it's like, you inherently place more affection on people. That's just how the human brain works. So to make that a hallmark of one of the things, it's kind of unrealistic. It's a little but our main boy, he slowly starts like fucking falling in love with this beautiful woman. She does too. They're having conversations and shit, which is like unheard of. And one thing he did that was interesting was in his head, he starts calling her the golden one. She's blonde, and it's very clear that like these two are fucking enamored with each other. And and in this society that's like bad. But they're liking each other, they're having conversations, which is no bueno, illegal, because they're of different classes. She's a farmer and he is street cleaner, so that's no bueno. They can't talk to each other. And then I'm trying to remember the plot beat. After they're slowly falling more and more in love. That's happening. And then with the him fucking around in the subway tunnel, our main boy, he eventually has like functioning fucking light bulbs, and it's a plot device, so it's meant to be representing like advanced knowledge, you know, beyond what the state can offer. And he goes to the meeting of the Council of Scholars, and he fucking breaks into it with a light bulb, and he's just like, "Behold!" Bzz, bzz, bzz. And the whole council just freaks the fuck out. And let me find it. It's close to the end, like that part of it is close to the end. It's yeah. Here we go. Where is this? Yeah, here we go. We have much to say to a wretch who have broken all laws and boast of their infamy. Like that's how most of the conversation goes there. Is they, yeah, within a line. Yeah, here we go. Here's a good, how dare you, gutter cleaner, spoke fraternity 93452, to hold yourself as one alone and with the thoughts of one and not of many. You shall be burned at the stake. Yeah, you see, these guys fucking hate each other. So, like, the scientist guys, they're like, no, you have forbidden knowledge, die. And then they sentence him to, like, effectively trial by public, where they're taking him in public to be voted on whether he should be fucking murdered, which is pretty fucked up. But before that can happen, our main boy just says fuck it and runs off into the woods. And he runs off into the forest. Then a few days later, as he's fucking around in the woods, Golden One, pretty lady, follows him there because they're in love. So two of them, they say fuck it, they live in the woods, and eventually they are going further and further into the woods, further and further away from the city. And they also, the woods are like forbidden ground. I forgot to mention that. The woods are like super duper, you can't go in there. The animals will kill you. The city says the animals will kill you, so you can't go in there. But our boy and fucking Golden One, they're walking for like days, and eventually they hit a mountain. And there's also a bunch of really cool descriptions of nature in this book, which I liked. Like, as they're fucking around, they're describing, because Ayn Rand, it was originally like a Russian speaker, a bunch of the analogies and shit in here are kind of like off from what would be typical. So it's that's another interesting thing I like in here. But as they're climbing up the mountain, they eventually, there's just like a fucking modern day house on the mountain, and they move in, and they have like a family together, and they're happy. And there's one bit that this book does that's kind of annoying, where like I think I mentioned it, where like everyone calls each other like we and they, so it makes it hard to understand all this shit. But eventually, when they're in the house, oh, farted, hell yeah, they find a book. Guy is like searching through the house and is reading the books there, and he finds the word I, and that's like the big climax of the book, is he finds the word I. Yeah, that's a fucking page turner. But he discovers that word, and then he's like, hell yeah, I fucking love this. And him and his, and they eventually take like real names instead of just fucking numbers. He picks name Prometheus, and she picks name Gaia, and they live happily up there, and they start like a little commune where he goes down. It doesn't happen on screen, but he's like, I will eventually go down and free other like-minded individuals from the city, you know. But it's an interesting fucking book. And that's kind of the ending. Is they're happy. They've got a kid. And I don't know. It was an interesting book. I think the main thing in my mango, the main thing to be taken away from all of this book is, Ayn Rand grew up in a pretty fucking bad society. She grew up in like immediate early. She was born in, I believe, 1901 or 2, something like that. So she was like 3 or 4 years younger than me when the Bolshevik Revolution happened. So she basically got to grow up into a world where, a whole lot of people fought for a better government, and then it turned out to still be a shit one. So, and it's an interesting read when you think about her life and her perspective, because it's interesting, and it's kind of odd. She addresses this at the start in a foreword. She says, like, I know many say this is not a true depiction of collectivism or socialism. And she says, like, oh, well, when a party with your name burns you, you can say, I didn't want this, and it's like, okay, bitch. That I'm not gonna lie. The first few chapters of this book are a little bit fucking Reddit. So it's, because there's a foreword by a dude who is very Reddity. And then there's there's the preface, which is from the guy who's organizing this specific printing, and it's pretty Reddit. Then there's the foreword, which is super fucking Reddit, and then you get into the content of the book, and it's like decent. So it's like if you can wade through the shit, then you get the gold coin, Yeah, I don't know. This is a fucking weird book to take at face value. So some things I thought about it. Oh God. Let me look. I put in 2 bookmarks on quotes, so I need to get those out, or get those thoughts out, so I can get it out. One thing which I liked one thing I really liked is this assertion from the story. This is, I'll just read it out. I know not if this earth on which I stand is a speck at the core of the universe, or if it is the core of the universe, or if it is but a speck of dust lost in eternity. I know not, and I care not, for I know what happiness is possible to me on earth, and my happiness needs no higher aim to vindicate it. My happiness is not the means to any end. It is the end. It is its own goal. It is its own purpose. To me, that was kind of the thesis of the book. Was, to me, that was what Ayn Rand meant by individualism, because big thing on the back of it is big, bright fucking text. It says individualism. A whole bunch of the things in here are talking about the collective, and I think Ayn Rand has kind of skewed views of collective versus individual, and or to be fair, 80 years ago, the terminology might be slightly different cultural meanings now. I don't know. But her, or at least what I read of her idea of individualism, was less so like being different and striking out and being different from the collective, but just pursuing your own happiness instead. Like being different from the collective, not out of an inherent desire to be different, but out of a desire for your own happiness. Instead of a desire to fit in, it's a desire to go do what you want. And it might align with the collective, it might not. And I think that was kind of her idea of individualism. I think she kind of hits like a weird, I don't know, a bunch of the ideas in this book are slightly like off and a little bit, Um, I don't know. A bunch of the shit in here is weird. Also, I feel like I have to reiterate, this book is fucking loved by like Reddit conservatives. When I looked online and I just typed in Ayn Rand and then like reviews and that type of shit, it's a bunch of far right fucking losers praising, because it, I dropped the pencil that I was using as a bookmark. Fuck me. Hey, you know, I don't like the way people are referencing her, because this is a woman who grew up through like some of the worst shit to happen in the history of Russia. Like, Russian history is fucked, but especially the era she was around for was fucked, where revolution into a government that was, I don't know. I didn't live through Imperial Russia or Bolshevik Russia, so like, who knows, maybe one was better, maybe one wasn't, but like, to live through two very insane, radical, evil-ass regimes, and then to try and cope with it through writing and writing out, like, plots about what you think of it, it's fucking hard, and I get it. And she explicitly states at points that, like, this book, or her writings, aren't meant to represent any one country, but it's very fucking clear. It's like in The Hobbit when Tolkien is like, yeah, this isn't about World War One at all. And it's like, it fucking obviously is. Like, it's okay to be inspired by shit in your life. Everyone is. Let me think. I also, the second thing I bookmarked was, at the back of the book, she put like, or the guy who organized this put like some definitions of Rand's belief set, which I don't think really matters in the context of this specific story, but it's something I feel like I have to point at because of like the modern views of this woman. It's like I kind of have to point at what she's espousing, because if I don't, people might think I agree with some of the horrible shit that's online about this woman. So I'm just going to read out. So Ayn Rand started off a philosophy called objectivism, so I'm just going to read out the things from it. And it seems like there's a set of 6. Is it 6? Yeah, 6 base principles to objectivism. So I'm just going to read them out and talk about my thoughts on them. First principle, metaphysics. Reality, the external world, exist independent of man's consciousness, independent of any observer's knowledge, beliefs, feelings, desires, or fears. This means that A is A, that facts are facts, that things are what they are, and that the tasks of man's consciousness is to perceive reality, not to create or invent it. Thus, objectivism rejects any belief in the supernatural and any claim that individuals or groups create their own reality. I don't know. I think, I don't know. I half and half with that one, because there is like an objective day-to-day that we all live through, but it's also like life is pretty fucking much what you make of it. So I don't think, also, people's views of the world are like radically fucking different. So I think to say like, no, everything is the same is a little bit bullshit, but I can see how you might get there, but like, no. Number 2, epistemology. Man's reason is fully competent to know the facts of reality. Reason, the conceptual faculty, is the faculty that identifies and integrates the material provided by man's senses. Reason is man's only means of acquiring knowledge. Thus, objectivism rejects mysticism, any acceptance of faith or feeling as a means of knowledge, and it rejects skepticism, the claim that certainty or knowledge is impossible. Yeah. I completely disagree with that. I think reason is good and thinking is good, and thinking critically is good, but I don't think any amount of thinking will ever compare to like the silent piece of like feeling I don't know, a lover's touch or shit like that, where it's, I think, where it says like any accept of faith or feeling as a means of knowledge, I think it's it's this really, how do I put it? It's like none of this shit fucking matters when it's like, oh, I farted again. Hell yeah. Yeah, none of it matters when I farted again. But no, legit. I don't think, or like, I don't know. This just feels kind of Reddit-y. Like all of this shit feels kind of Reddit-y. And it's like, have you ever felt the fucking warm touch of someone who loves you? Like all of the reason, all of the thinking, all of that shit. It matters. It's good to think critically. It's good to do all that. But I mean, that's the purpose of it all. Is so you can sit there, so you can feel that love, so you can feel like the warmth, and to say like at least I think the reason I'm trying to say this as like contradicting reason as this is, she says like objecting mysticism and acceptance of faith or feeling as knowledge, but it's like that emotion, that feeling, that's really all that fucking matters in the end. Like, 10 trillion gazillion fucking years from now, when we're all like ash in the fucking stars and shit, I'm probably not gonna remember, just looking at fucking books in my room. I'm not gonna remember literary criticism. I'm not gonna remember any of this shit. But I'm probably gonna remember the happiness I felt with the ones I love. And to reject that and get like fucking Reddit-y about like knowledge, it's like, shut the fuck up, you know. And to me, that's like all the knowledge that matters. But yeah, goddamn got fucking meta with that one. 3, human nature. Man is a rational being. Reason, as man's only mean of knowledge, is his basic means of survival. The exercise of reason depends on each individual's choice. Man is a being of volitional consciousness. That which you call your soul or spirit is your consciousness, and that which you call your free will is your mind's freedom to think or not. The only will you have, your only freedom. This is the choice that controls all the choices you make and determines your life and character. Thus, objectivism rejects any form of determinism, the belief that man is a victim of forces beyond his control, such as God, fate, upbringing, genes, or economic conditions. I agree with it to an extent. Everyone's different. Everyone comes out different, but your environment does affect who you become. I mean, hell, I feel like that one's less of an ideological thing and more of like a study. Like, yes, your upbringing affected who you are. Yes, like fucking dipshit 101. But 4, ethics. Reason is man's only proper judge of values and his only proper guide to action. The proper standard of ethics is man's survival qua man. Qua man? Can't read it too well. I'm fucking blind. I.e., that which is required by man's nature for his survival as a rational being, not his momentary physical survival as a mindless brute. Rationality is man's basic virtue, and his 3 fundamental values are reason, purpose, and self-esteem. Man, every man, is an end in himself, not a means to the ends of others. He must live to his own sake, never sacrificing himself to others, nor sacrificing others to himself. He must work for his rational self-interest, with the achievement of his own happiness as the highest moral purpose of his life. Thus, objectivism rejects any form of altruism, the claim that morality consists in living for others or for society. Yeah, disagree. Hard disagree on that one. How do I put it? I disagree about the end bit where it's like altruism bad. I agree that, all of our individual perceptions are all that matter. But I think to say like nobody else's matters, only your own, is too fucking Reddit dickhead behavior. It's like, you can accept that like all of our individual happinesses, penises, is all that matters. Like all of us being happy on our own is really all that matters in the world. Like if everyone on Earth is happy, then who fucking cares what's going on? Like legitimately, I get it's. It reminds me of this. God, I don't know where the fuck I saw it, but in probably like 2019 or 18, I saw this fucking Twitter comic that legitimately scared me so bad I've thought about it for years. And it was, I can't remember the fucking artist, but I remember it got memed to hell. But it was this like what was it? Comic about like time travel. And the main character is like quirky white girl with like little fucking kitsune friend or whatever. I don't exactly remember, but she time travels to the future. And because I mean that's the right way to go with time travel, because it's like, future shit's probably cooler and better. So she goes far future, and when she gets there, everyone has their own like pod. Like all the humans are put into pods where they get to live until the fucking sun burns out, and they're hooked up to like the fucking Subway Surfers dopamine 10,000 machine. And a little robot like picks up our main character and is like, hey, want to try out the machine? We put in this contingency for time travelers like you can come chill in the machine if you want. And she does it, and it fucking hooks up to the dopamine machine, and it like she's effectively fucking lobotomized by the machine, and it is fucked. God, but that comic, it fucking scarred me, because I read that shit as like a 13 or 14-year-old, and it's legitimately never left my brain, because the concept is, it's so fucking terrifying. It's like a Matrix, but good. And it like unsettled me in a way that not many sci-fi concepts have. But because there it's so it makes like eternal happiness such a fucking terrifying thing to see, that it's, oh god, it's fucked, man. But I can't remember why I brought this up. I'm sorry. But I think what I was getting at with the points with the book is to say like, oh, you have to live for yourself. Fuck everyone else's happiness. It's so fucking Reddit. Like, I don't like altruism. Like, I think it is legitimately like a toddler, where you recognize yourself as a person, but you do not recognize others as people. Like, it's interesting, because I'm kind of reading this as Rand came from such a collectivist thing, that she wants the dead fucking opposite. She wants to legitimately be a lonely, greedy bastard till the end of time. And that's okay. You have fun on the fucking Lonely Hut. But like, to say, oh god, to be so like callous and like morality consists in living for others, bad. Like living for others than yourself, being altruistic is bad. Like, it's fucking disturbing, to be honest, because it's like, this bitch is so how do I put this, like, it feels so Reddit. It just feels Reddit, because it feels like this person came from a culture that was not perfect, but had like something good in there that was slowly corrupted by various things. Like I feel like you can tell this woman came up in a bad time in Russia, because to have such a like strong rejection of the values espoused by Russian government at the time and all that crap, it's like, it's pretty clear they're not a good government, but it feels like baby bathwater, where it's like she's thrown out the baby with the bathwater, and by violently rejecting all aspects of Russian life at the time and all aspects of like collective life at the time, she has in turn thrown out a bunch of really odd concepts with it. I don't know. I'm trying to point at everything in here, but frankly, this is a woman who is heavily traumatized by one of the worst fucking political things of all time, and now she's like throwing her schizophrenic trauma ramblings at us, and now it's our fucking problem. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next point because I could stay here and ramble forever, but I'll just end it with I disagree with this one. 5. Politics. The basic social principle of the objectivist ethics is that no man has the right to seek values from others by means of physical force. Hang on, let me get a drink. My throat's dry. Fuck. Fuck. Where was I? i.e., no man or group has the right to initiate the use of physical force against others. Men have the right to use force only in self-defense and only against those who initiate its use. Men must deal with one another as traders, giving value for value by free mutual consent to mutual benefit. The only social system that bars physical force from human relationships, god damn it, is laissez-faire capitalism. Capitalism is a system based on the recognition of individual rights, including property rights, in which the only function of the government is to protect individual rights, i.e., to protect men from those who initiate the use of physical force. Thus, where am I? Objectivism rejects any form of collectivism, such as fascism or socialism. Okay. It also rejects the current mixed economy notion that the government should regulate the economy and redistribute wealth. Okay. See, this is what I was kind of getting at earlier with the baby and bathwater analogy, is by, how do I put it? It's almost the inverse of it. By so hard line sticking to laissez-faire capitalism, she is lumping a lot of very different shit into one group. Like, and I feel like it's worth, like it's fair to acknowledge that this is 80 years ago. A lot of these terms are pretty new. Like, fascist governments are like a pretty fucking new concept at this point. Like Mussolini's fascist Italy, that was 1931, something like that. Like these ideas have only existed for like a decade at this point. So, you know, maybe the terminology isn't as set in stone. I'm trying to give her a little bit of like empathy, but I disagree with this point because she says like capitalism protects where is it? The only social system that bars physical force from human relationships. Physical force from human relationships. The problem is when you're selling your labor, like when you're, oh my god, fucking Google Marx alienation of labor and read that whole fucking thing. But like, when you sell your labor to your boss, when you are selling your labor, when you are selling your physical body to make ends meet, to pay your fucking rent, then that is, oh god, that is physical force used in your relationship. Like, that is, because the simple facts of it is, if you don't work for the boss man, you're going to die of starvation, and your family will die of starvation. So saying capitalism isn't, capitalism makes human relationships equal and even, and like she's implying, or not even implying, but she's outright stating that, these force you to come at the relationship as equals. No, they fucking don't. They, oh my god, this, I mean, you can get into it with like a whole fucking Marxist reading of all this shit, but it's, oh god. When you're making claims that like laissez-faire capitalism like this is the way to go, and then you're saying like, there is full equality here, like everyone is an equal trader in the marketplace of ideas and freedom and la 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 la, it takes away from the fact that like the poor in this system, they still have to work. They still have to, sell their fucking body at the oil rig every day. They still have to trade away the years in exchange for fucking rent. And it is fucking ridiculous for this bitch to claim that this is a better system than, collective labor. And, God. And it is fucking infuriating. And she's rejecting collectivism because it's like, oh, I don't want to work as a collective. But I think all of the problems she has with collectivism are still in capitalism. They are still, hell, if anything, they're worse in capitalism. Because at least with wealth redistribution, like in the form of collectivism she's talking about, hell, at least everyone gets to fucking die poor equally. Like in capitalism, it's like, congratulations, there's one guy who farms the wealth out of all of us and gets to live rich, while everyone else gets to die broke. At least in collectivism, we all get to suffer together, you know? Fuck off. I fucking hate this woman. I hate all of her points. And it sucks because a lot of the book is decent, and you can tell from her writing, this is a woman who is fucking heavily traumatized by the world and the shit she's seen. So I don't want to be a dick, but it's like, just shut the fuck up. You're wrong. You're wrong. Oh my god, you're wrong. And you made 100-page fucking novel, and you made 2 like 500-page fucking novels about it. Just shut the fuck up. You're wrong. All right. Point 6. 6, 7. Aesthetics. Without the A. She spelled it E-S-T-H. Aesthetics. You get it. Art is a selective recreation of reality according to an artist's metaphysical value judgments. The purpose of art is to concretize the artist's... I like that word. Concretize. Concretize? I like that. The artist's fundamental view of existence. Ayn Rand described her own approach to art as romantic realism. I am a romantic in the sense that I present men as they ought to be. I am realistic in the sense that I place them here and now on this earth. Okay. The goal of Rand's novels is not didactic, but artistic. The projection of an ideal man. My purpose, first cause and prime mover, is the portrayal of Howard Rourke or John Galt or Hank Rearden or Francisco d'Anconia, as an end in himself, not as a means to any further end. Okay, you fucking read it, bitch. Good God. Alright. I want to finish and get out all my points about this book, because it fucking unfortunately, I feel like there's a few decent points to be had from this book, because someone who suffered from the rise of a horrible authoritarian regime like that, you know, she probably has something good in here to be found from, like, you know, how do we conflict authoritarian regimes? And I'll go ahead and fucking hat off now, you know, coat off now, fucking dick out now. The one thing I feel like I actually got from this fucking book was that the way that our main character and the way that all of the allies, the friends, the way all of them escape, the way all of them get away from this authoritarian regime, the way they escape the rise of fascism, the way they escape the regime, is by just fucking off in the woods and just loving each other and being happy. That is how they do it. And I think really that's all you can do in the real world too, because I mean, look, everywhere on Earth has had a fascist regime like rise up in the last couple years. It's unfortunately been like the fucking theme of the last few years is every government on Earth is more and more into its citizen shit. Every government on Earth is further and further into batshit insane political hell. Everything on Earth is getting worse. How do you escape it? It's the walled garden idea. You lead the walled garden for the peace of like the real forest. And I really like that in the book, because the way that our main characters, you know, get away from this, it isn't by throwing themselves into a fucking forever war with the fascist regime. It isn't by doing whatever. It's by just leaving and starting something better. And that was the one fucking thing from this book that I really, really loved. And they also, the book also did a decent job of world building. That was another thing I liked in here. The world building was good, and the ultimate resolution of our main character, where he's just like, fuck it, I live in the woods now. Those were the things I really fucking liked in this book. And the problem is, so much of this book is just Reddit as shit. It's weird because the actual story itself is pretty good, but like all of the foreword, all of the thought put into this story is so fucking Reddit. All of it is super duper Reddit. If I don't even want to fucking go into it, but like if I go to her fucking author's foreword, she's super Reddit. And where is it? Where is it? Where is this bitch? Where is this fucking shit? Is it here? Where is it? Yeah, here we fucking go. I'll read this whole fucking paragraph for you because this paragraph honestly set up for me how hard I was going to disagree with this fucking book. The greatest guilt today is that of people who accept collectivism by moral default. The people who seek protection from the necessity of taking a stand by refusing to admit to themselves the nature of that which they are accepting. The people who support plans specifically designed to achieve serfdom, but hide behind the empty assertion that they are lovers of freedom, with no concrete meaning attached to the word. The people who believe that the content of ideas need not be examined, that principles need not be defined. Wait, hang on, sorry, I think I picked the wrong paragraph, actually. Where is this? Where is this? I'm just going to read the whole author's foreword. Yeah. Some of those who read the story when it was first written told me that I was unfair to the ideas of collectivism. This was not, they said, what collectivism preaches or intends. Collectivists do not mean or advocate such things. Nobody advocates them. I shall merely point out that the slogan, production for use and not for profit, is now accepted by most men as commonplace, and commonplace stating a proper, desirable goal. If any intelligible meaning can be discerned in that slogan at all, what is it, if not the idea that the motive of man's work must be the needs of others, not his own need, desire, or gain? Dude, she's so fucking Reddit. Because when it's saying production for use and not for profit, when it's saying for profit, it's saying this is going to the corporation. This isn't going to me. This isn't... You're pumping out endless slop into the guck factory. And also, it's interesting that some worker in 1946 had a slogan that I, as a fucking retard in 2026, can look at and be like, yeah, that's pretty cool. But, oh, God. She's so Reddit. And now if I skip ahead because the next paragraph isn't too relevant. We have councils of vocations, councils of blah, 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 and if these do not yet hold total power over us, it is... Yeah, she was just kind of fucking waffling. Here we go. Social games, social aims, social objectives have become the daily bromides of our language. The necessity of a social justification for all activities and all existence is now taken for granted. There's no proposal outrageous enough, but what its author can get a respectful hearing and approbation if he claims that in some undefined way, it is for the common good. This was the one where I was like, okay, maybe, because she was like, if someone says they're doing it for the people, then it, I could maybe see that. Then she says, some might think, though I don't, that 9 years ago there was some excuse for men not going to see the direction of the world. Skip that paragraph. That one's not relevant. Yeah. So in particular, the paragraph that I skipped to where it was like, collectivists do not mean or advocate such things. And then, fair warning, this last paragraph I'm going to read is, it made me fucking angry. I'm not going to lie. So here we go. I'll give a minute so people can, click out or whatever. Let's see. They expect, when they find themselves in a world of bloody ruins and concentration camps, to escape moral responsibility by wailing, "But I didn't mean this." Those who want slavery should have the grace to name it by its proper name. They must face the full meaning of that which they are advocating or condoning, the full, exact, specific meaning of collectivism, or its logical implications, of the principles upon which it is based, and of the ultimate consequences to which these principles will lead. They must face it, then decide whether this is what they want or not. Okay, so this stupid bitch actually has no fucking point. She's waffling for an hour. God. And the problem is she's so Reddit intellectual about it that it's like the worst people you know probably fucking eat this book up and love it. Oh my god. She's so fucking stupid and she thinks she's so fucking smart, you know? Ugh. Also, I the reason I pointed out the line about the concentration camps, this was written in 1946. Those were discovered like 2 years prior. This, like, imagine learning about mass death of 40 million people. 40 million people literally shoveled into a fucking fire pit. Over the course of a decade, the entirety of Europe turned into a mass grave for the invalids of the world. For the people like this bitch. Oh god. It's oh, I just realized I worded that wrong. I just realized I kind of worded that like I agreed with the Holocaust. No, that is not what I meant. I misworded that. What I mean to imply is that this fucking idiot here, this stupid woman, she's so Reddit in every fucking word, and she's using the real honest to God Holocaust as a means to an end for an argument about laissez-faire capitalism. This bitch is insufferable, and everything she writes, super Reddit. She thinks she's so fucking bright, and she's using real horrible events as like, see, I told you so's. Like she used the Holocaust, which today it is still a touchy subject 80 fucking years later. But I want you to picture this. This is 2 years after the Holocaust. There are people who like still weep nightly thinking of the relatives they lost in the war. And this is 1946. Half of the eastern, the fucking Pacific front of the war is still going on. And this fucking crack whore has the nerve to start up a book with like, if you disagree with me, you're going in the camp. I sincerely hope she like she's already dead. I hope she's fucking rotten in hell. But like I wish she was, when she was alive, somebody had just fucking blown her brains out in public, so then maybe someone could get some fucking good sleep at night. Like what a miserable fucking woman. Truly, I cannot think of a more horrific thing than using the Holocaust as a gotcha 2 years after it happened. You know what? I'm gonna Google this. When was the last German concentration camp stopped? Let's see. January 31st, 1945. A year prior to this shit. And she wrote the book in 1938. This is like the edited version, which is it took her 8 years to edit one fucking book. Shows how fucking smart she is. So the Holocaust was honestly pretty much the entire Holocaust this bitch was actively aware of. 40 million fucking people died in the process of her editing this book. 40 million fucking people died in a camp. I want you to picture this. I want you to picture yourself day in, day out in a camp, slowly dying, starving, watching those around you die of cholera, typhoid, fucking bubonic plague even in some cases. I want you to picture this. Shoveling the corpses of your friends, people who were your family, shoveling them at gunpoint from actual Nazis. And all the while, this little fucking bitch is sitting pretty in a New York apartment using your life as a gotcha in a fucking book. Ayn Rand is rotting in hell. Good God. It is fucking sickening. This woman, truly, I cannot think of a more horrific thing to do. Like, genocides are always horrific, but let's be honest, the Holocaust in specific, it was 40 million people. That is, you fucking, hopefully it will never be topped, but we're talking about, even today, that is one in, what is that, 200, that is almost a percentage point of the planet in a camp, starving to death, laboring to death, dying in a fucking camp. And some Reddit cunt opens up the fucking pen and quill and ink and says, yes, if you disagree with me, you like this. And it's, God, what a miserable fucking woman. Ugh. And what sucks is, when someone lives through a horrible event like she did, where she lived through the Bolshevik rise and the whole shithole around that, I get it. I get that she had a hard fucking life. And let's be honest, when people have bad lives like that, they're usually shitty people. People can live through horrible things and still be awful fucking people. It's usually the case. And she's no fucking exception. She lived through a horrible thing, and she could have brought something to the table. She could have legitimately put up a legitimate front to fight against the type of authoritarianism in her country. But instead, she chose to fucking chud out and fight. She chose to go against authoritarianism by making a Reddit wet dream, capitalism stroke off. Instead of making any legitimate arguments against authoritarianism, she's just oh, I love capitalism. Oh, I love capitalism. And it's you know what? Maybe she believed this. Maybe she truly believed this was the solution to authoritarian bullshit. Maybe she believed it. I don't know. I don't know what this woman believed. But the problem is, every word she espouses is so Reddit that it can't be a legitimate belief. This is like the 1945 equivalent of the modern day doomer soaked in irony, where you can't tell if a word out of their mouth is legitimate or if it's Reddit shutting up. And because of that, you can't take any argument at face value, because everything comes off as a condescending little fucking dickhead. And you know what? Maybe these are all her real, genuine beliefs and opinions and shit. I don't know. But if they are, this is an evil... God, what is worse? An evil bitch who genuinely believes and genuinely thinks it's smart to use references to the Holocaust as a gotcha, or someone who is so deluded and so separated from human fucking empathy that they are willing to do all this to get a check for a book, God, what a vile fucking woman. I sound like Stewie describing fucking Lois from Family Guy. Vile woman, damn you, vile woman. But God, I feel genuinely fucking sick now. It is just, it's just fucking vile to me the way this woman writes. And I'm not gonna lie, I Googled her before I read the book. I Googled her. I saw that she was beloved by conservatives. I saw that a bunch of people were talking shit about her on random Reddit forums and shit. And it's I went into this knowing that I realistically wouldn't agree with her, wouldn't like her opinions. And that's okay. You can disagree with people. Who fucking cares? But I went into this because I was I want to hear the opinions of people I disagree with. I want to see if this is a thing that holds true. I want to see if my beliefs can be fucking shaken and tested by this. Newsflash, my beliefs are fine. I think I think in the whole collectivism versus individual thing, they're both important. Like I don't think they have to conflict. Like the individual matters and so does the collective. Neither matters without the other. You know? Fucking hell. It's not that fucking hard to get to that. And God. And the story even comes to that conclusion too a bit. Because at the end, our main character effectively establishes a fucking commune. He has, like, his hut up in the mountain, and he's recruiting his friends. He's talking about, like, going back down to the city and recruiting his friends. If a collective is so bad, if collectivism's so bad, then why do you collective? Legitimately. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You stupid, evil bitch. You're full of shit. You're a hypocrite. You're stupid. You're a bad writer. You're fucking right like a Redditor. Also, a lot of when I was reading through this, I was reading it aloud for the camera the first time I read through it, and I'm not going to upload that because like family came in the middle and had to have a conversation with my grandmother and forgot I was recording and blah 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 blah. But like, it was a fucking hard read, not because it had some ludicrously fucking beautiful prose and ideas, but because she just writes like a fucking toddler, throws in 45 of the word and this but also like she writes like a fucking nincompoop. She's stupid. She's fucking dumb. Oh my god. And she thinks she's so fucking smart because she knows a little bit of prose. I'm a fucking idiot. I want this to be clear. I am one of the dumbest fucking people ever born. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay to be a little bit fucking stupid. I'm okay with it. I am happy. I live a good life. But like, this bitch is so stupid and she's so discontent. And I think that's the problem with people like this, is they have problems with the world. Some of them valid, some of them not. But they just won't shut the fuck up. And they blend every problem, fucking hell. I'm talking about her being stupid. Look at me. But, she's talking shit about, like, collectivist values and everything. And she's just so Reddit. And she combines every single belief into one. Everything I hate is collective. This is the fucking communism is when money, capitalism, or what is it? Communism is when no money, no house. Capitalism is when money and house. Like, we have truly hit that fucking level. This woman is, oh my god, man, this is making my head fucking spin because she's so stupid. Like, I want you all to get this. I read a full fucking novel from a woman that I cannot stand because I wanted to fucking test my own ideology, see if it holds. And she's so fucking dumb. She's so fucking stupid. I feel like I'm stupider for having read this. I feel like, goddamn, my hairline is funny. I'm balding and that's okay. You know, who fucking cares? But, oh, she's so fucking dumb and full of shit. And it's just like, it's just a fucking miserable read. What was interesting to me, though, was, I think, remove the foreword, remove the preface, remove everything where Ayn Rand actually talks to you, and put a layer of obfuscation that is the story, and it's not horrible. That was what got to me. That's what's getting to me the most. It's not like a throw all of this out. Like, the story had some interesting good ideas. And that's fucking freaking me out because, like, she's so stupid. Her ideology is entirely false. And somehow she still managed to cook up a decent story. I think we're seeing what happens when this is heartbreaking worst person you know makes a good point, but it's like heartbreaking worst person you know knows how to write decently. And she has like a decent grasp. She has like a really fucking good grasp on like world building. That was the one thing from this book that was like fucking excellent consistently, was like the way she could build a world and the way she could like keep the logic consistent in that world. honestly worked pretty fucking excellently. Yeah, the one line in particular that really fucking caught me was uh like, because it's a pre-industrial world, there's no electricity and shit. And when our boy discovers light bulbs, he describes it as lightning harnessed from the sky, the lightning magic. And it's a fucking excellent moment, because it's like, yeah, someone who doesn't know electricity would be like, this is lightning magic. Like, it's a cool moment, and it's a legitimately impressive use of, like, it's an impressive understanding of the world she's built. It's interesting. And oh, I farted again. Hell yeah. And she legitimately does a good job of it. That is probably the last compliment you're going to hear me give her in this whole fucking video. Um oh god. Oh, I will say that was the one big compliment, was the world building was pretty fucking good. And another thing from her that I liked was just the idea of, like, rejecting the collective for individual. And I don't really, she kind of, I think let me like run through this thought idea. I think one of the things that was pissing me off about this is she kind of clumps everything good into one thing, everything bad into another thing, you know? Everything she dislikes is collectivist, you know, fucking everything I dislike is anti-Soviet Union. You get the idea. Like, but oh god, oh, what am I trying to say? She puts, like, the ending of the story, the good happy ending, is just all our guys having love up in the woods, and, you know, the two lovers happy together, just like a beautiful warm embrace in the woods. And to me, that's like a beautiful, like, moment, but it's so overshadowed by just her fucking Redditness. And it also, it pisses me off how it's hypocritical of, like, collectivism bad, but also, you know, the only way for our main character to be happy is to go form a collective up in the woods. And it's like, okay, fuck you, you know, just go fuck yourself. I miserable fucking time. All right, I'm gonna finish my Cuban and talk about media I actually like. Oh, there you go. Got a piece stuck in my teeth. All right. On the bright side of things, when I was at the thrift store, got a 2010 or 2012 or so copy of Watchmen. You know, the Alan Moore comic. It's really good. Um, hmm, yeah. What year is this print from? It's on the older side. Like you can look at it and see the pages are super yellowed. I don't think this is like an 80s print or anything, but it's like, this is probably from 2000s if I had to guess. There you go. I'm gonna pull the price tag sticker off so you can't see what fucking thrift store I shop at. Yeah, fuck you. But let's see if there's any. Oh, that's cool. There's a bunch of sketches on the back. That's money. I like that. Let's see, is there, with Dave Gibbons, illustrator. Yeah, here we go. 2014. Okay, so this is about a 12-year-old or so print. Okay. Yeah, but it's a good fucking comic. I read this shit. God, when did I read Watchmen? I read this shit probably a few years ago. But it's a good comic. I like it. And it was a fucking steal, too. It was like $2 for this. It's like the whole fucking thing. It's the whole fucking compendium of it. It's fucking awesome, man. But, oh, God. It's got a bunch of the sketches and shit in the back. It's got like a bunch of the Alan Moore sketches and shit. Oh, God. Skip to that fucking. Let's see if we can find that fucking panel. You know the fucking one. Let's see if we can find that goddamn panel. Yeah. Yeah, there he fucking is. the fucking you know this fucking panel. It's such an amazing fucking comic. It's so good. Alan Moore's work is like some of the best shit you'll ever see, you know? But I am fucking surprised I found that shit. Thrift store book finds are crazy because it's either shit like this where it's like the worst shit you'll ever. Oh, also, forgot to mention this. I mentioned it in the first recording with the actual reading, but as I was reading through it on page 15, I found the receipt for this fucking book, and it is ancient, dude. Let me read this shit out to you. Bookstore. That's the name of the store. I googled the store. The name of the store is Bookstore. 606 Locust Street, Des Moines, Iowa. I googled the address, and it looks like the store has since shut down, unfortunately. Let's see. Time 12:34 p.m. Date 12/21/99. Someone bought this book 27 fucking years ago and let it sit. Used the receipt as the fucking the bookmark, and then got to page 15 and put that shit up and said nope. God, I wish that were me. They paid a lot of fucking money. $57.32 was the total. Good God. They paid with a MasterCard, which I think is funny. But I don't know. All of that's funny to me. But they bought $57 of books. This one was $7.99 US. It says on the label. But next up for me, I'm going to be reading. At some point, I'll probably cover it on this channel. Final Girl Support Group from Grady Hendrix. I heard some fucking short story from her. I think it was on Creepcast. Grady Hendrix short stories? I feel like I've read some short stories from this bitch. I don't know who, though. Tales of the White Street Society. Is this it? don't know. I feel like I know one of her books. I don't know. I know something of hers. I'm fucking scrolling Google trying to find it. Short stories. Here we go. Yeah. Short stories. Bright and Shining Parasites. Mad Scientist Guide to World Domination. Short story collections. Dead Leprechauns. Tales of White Street Society. I know something this motherfucker did. I have no idea where from, though. I don't know. I know something this motherfucker did, but I don't remember how. No idea. I think it was through Creepcast. I don't know. But I'm going to read this at some fucking point. Oh, God. It's got that... Dude, you know... I don't know if this is bigoted, but, like, you know a hobby has been invaded by evil-ass white women when, like, the texture of things goes from, like fucking fancy nice shit to, like, the most autism breakdown-inducing textures of all time. Like... like, I fucking hate the textures on so many books in stores. And it's like... I feel like that instantly tells you if a book is going to be good, because it's like it's like an autism stress test where it's like you know, let me know if I'm tweaking for this. I think this might be the most intellectual shit to come out of my brain. Like it's a legitimate autism stress test, because it's like, you know, if I am so the texture fuck like it's a stress test, because it's like, if you're autistic and you pick up a book, you're gonna put that shit back if the texture fucks with you. I cannot believe I bought that with that texture. I cannot believe it. I guess I just didn't feel it closely enough in the store. I don't know. But because now I'm gonna be holding it for like 4 fucking hours to read it, and it's gonna be like tweaking me out the whole time. Oh, god damn it. But it's like a stress test for autistic people. If you look for the books with like less copies, or you look for books with good texture, and I mean this in the way of like, not, I don't know what the name of the texture is. It's the texture that paperback books have that isn't like the flat gloss texture. Like look at this. See how it's shiny? See how it's like got the gloss on it? See how this has got like the gloss on it? That's good texture right there. That's like, you can hold this. Like, and even if I grab from the fucking other pile of books, like this, like the hardback, like this shit, like the canvas feels fucking excellent. This shit right here, like, doesn't reflect light too well, and it feels like damn. I think I need to get off the Spectrum pack, low key. God, the texture legitimately fucking bothers me. God damn. What was I saying? But I think it's like an interesting metric for if a book is good or not. Is if it, because like, if you're an author, surely you have like some level of say for like the cover, the cover type, and all that shit. So like, I feel like, you know, an autistic author is probably gonna ask for a specific texture on the cover, and I'd do that shit if I was writing a book. Like you're telling me I write a book and I can't even hold my own shit because I go ugh, you know, like, fucking hell. But that's like a stress test, because if the writer knows the majority of readers are autistic and they put the good cover on there, that means the media is good. because autistic people, like 9 times out of 10, have good taste in media, or they like Sonic the Hedgehog. But you know, is that not a fair? No, I think I'm cooking with that one. But that's gonna be my next thing I read is Final Girl Support Group. I don't know, looks interesting. But yeah, read through Ayn Rand, Anthem. Did not care for The Godfather. Did not care for it. What you didn't care for The Godfather, Peter? What do you mean? It's like the best movie of all time. You know the fucking Family Guy clip. But that's all I got. I'm fucking tired. It is 1:50 a.m. I have been bitching about Ayn Rand since 12:15 a.m. Fuck you, Ayn Rand. Give me my hour and a half of ranting and 2 hours of reading back. Fuck you. Good God, that was a miserable experience. Thank you for watching. Final Girl Support Group. Probably next video. Maybe. I don't know. I might not get around to reading that one for a while. I'm gonna have a busy week, but we'll see. We'll see.